work or solo work replaces teamwork.
Oh yeah.
It's good to have both.
Did I tell you guys about the about 20 years ago, a friend of mine got hired by some Hollywood production house to join the team of writers to write some sitcom. Actually, it was called Creature Comfort. And then I went to visit him, and he told me that they are writing around, like getting together, physical location, round table, and they're passing ideas in writing. And then the deal was not to write at home. To just keep your idea juices for like, it's like mob, right?
Yeah.
And then he says, they come up with some ideas that otherwise at home you would never come up with.
Well, I think that one of the issues with working alone and thinking alone is that we do get, unless we're really careful, we things will stagnate. So we think we're making progress, but I've noticed when you share an idea with someone else, it exponentially explodes, if that's the right way to think about it. So we can make connections in our ideas really rapidly that way. It doesn't mean it's, again, the only way. It's just something, and I've seen this with groups writing things, like you said. I know that a lot of sitcoms and that kind of stuff was done with everybody throwing ideas because they got to get it done quickly. That's a good lesson to learn. This moves along quickly. It doesn't mean it's the best. It's just, I think a big part of discovering things has to do with having lots of options to quickly explore.
Mm-hmm.
And if it all comes back to taking action. If we, this is what I see in a lot of companies. They plan and plan and plan and then do. But that should be done in tiny, little iterations. If we plan, we are not really learning. We don't learn until we get in the thick of it. So we need to get in the thick of it really rapidly. And, there's the old quote from Napoleon, who said, "Engage and see." That was his plan for battle. I've never been in the military. I don't know anything about it. But, he said some general was asking, "What's our plan for this battle?" And he said, "Well, we're going to engage and see." That's the plan. And that's what leads us to discovery.
Yeah, if I may, before I go to Paul, if I may just offer a counterpoint. This guy, Rich Hickey, I don't know if you heard of Rich Hickey. He has a very interesting talk called Hammock-Driven Development, in which he talks about actually not acting on the idea, but like going for a walk or going to see a movie and let things kind of marinate in your head, in your mind. And then he says, even sometimes when he thinks he found a solution, because he was mostly focused on troubleshooting, like complex systems, and nobody can fix it. And then, okay, Rich, can you troubleshoot this? And he says, okay, I go for a walk, etc. And then even if I get the idea, I think this is a solution, he says, I usually sleep on it.
Oh, yes.
And if the next day it still holds in my head, I think that's it. And he says,
so there are lots of different ways to approach these things. And I would just throw in the idea that that process is enhanced by doing experiments. So there's a guy, Graham Wallace, who wrote the book 100 years ago now, called The Art of Thought. And in that book, he talks about 4 stages. And one is investigation. I'm going to use the wrong words. And then let's see, investigation. Then then you rest on it. So you investigate, you learn what you need to learn, and I think that includes some experimenting, and then we let it go. And then we get an illumination. So I'll look up the words before we're done here today. And then the last one is verification. So you have the idea, you don't just think about it. That's my argument. You try things. That's what's going to enhance the learning. Then you can go away, do something else, go to the opera is one of the things he brought up, go to the opera or whatever. And then when you come back, something will click along the way. All of a sudden you're in the middle of doing something else, you go, I know what to do. But I'll stop hogging the conversation. I see a couple of hands up.
Just one last thing. This came to me a few years ago, where I say we cannot understand the problem until we try to solve it.
Yeah.
Over to you, Paul.
So I'm writing these quotes down because I quite like I like some of these. Like one thing you said right at the very beginning, just there, Woody, was you said if we plan, we're not learning, and I love that as a little quote. And I was just gonna ask, is it possible to turn the chat on? Because I was gonna write that down and put it in the chat as a little, because I really like that. And just to add to that, where in the place that I'm working right now, we've been doing, it's funny because I would say we've been doing mob programming, but I don't think we've been following the discipline exactly how you I'm kind of interested in this because the way that you kind of do it and the way that my understanding of like how it's properly done is the whole, the driver doesn't really kind of do the thinking and so on. We've maybe violated some of those rules in the place where I work. But what I would say is that we've experienced recently, we did and they call it an innovation day, right? Like these are fairly common, I guess, across the industry. But because they hadn't done one for a while, they arranged this in advance to be a 3-day. It's kind of funny because they call it innovation day, but it's 3 days of innovation. And because it was 3 days, we were able to kind of do more substantial stuff. And what we did on the team that I was on, the whole session for 3 days was just like one big mob session like this. And what we ended up creating there, I won't go too much into the detail of what we created, but it was so good that in the end, they've now agreed to turn it into an official product in this place.
I love it. Well,
yeah, and not only that, but we were all saying on the call, and it didn't surprise me, but we're all saying on the call, one of the things that gets in the way of us doing this kind of stuff all the time is that we're expected to break stuff into tickets way in advance. Yes. And yes. It breaks up the thinking. Like you say, you're not learning as you do. And I actually said on this call, and this is what I played back to the business, and I think some of the, shall we say, so-called agile coaches, I'll say that. So some of them might take issue with this, but one of the things I played back and said to them is, look, if you want us to do it, get all the same people on the call again. We need one more person from, there's another team, an API that we're dependent on. So I said, bring that person in as well. And let us work together as we did on this kind of innovation day. Just give us a goal. We know what the goal is and trust us to do it in real time together, and we'll get it done in a fraction of the time and it'll be better. Yeah.
So you brought up several things I want to get back to. First of all, from Graham Wallace, it was preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification. So almost everybody I've ever talked with about this has experienced this same pattern. Now this was from 100 years ago, so who knows how is this really real or not? It was observations from studies, in the earliest days of psychology. So what does it really mean? Who knows? But first of all, the only rule I have is there are no rules. So whatever you're doing to collaborate is great. The way that I liked doing it was the person at the keyboard is acting as if they are part of the keyboard. The issue with this is that if we don't do this, we end up stilting the process. So if you're working at your computer and you're typing away and the keyboard stops and says, wait, are you sure that you want to do, every time you write a letter to your mom, it turns into a big mess and then she gets mad at you. And do you sure you want to write a letter to your mom? Look, I've decided to do this. Keyboard, don't try to tell me what to do. Just do what I'm asking of you. And that's sort of the same thing with mob program. It's like getting into a taxi cab and you go, hey, take us to the airport. And the taxi cab driver goes, you know what? There's a really great ball game going on. Why don't we go to the ball game instead? Go, well, we got to go catch a plane. No, let's go to the ball game. You don't want the driver of the taxi cab to subvert your intention. So the intention, we've separated the concerns. When you're at the keyboard, you are definitely context switching all day long between the problem you're trying to solve and the details of solving that problem. So AI lets us step up in intention a level or two. We talk about work at the highest level of intention possible. So this is the same thing. It's like prompting. You say to somebody, hey, we need a drop down. It's going to list the regions. Well, if they know how to code, they just do that. That allows you to keep thinking in the problem and solution space instead of going to the details of how do I make a drop down or whatever it happens to be. So that was the reason that I enjoyed or liked to work with this, I think, pretty straightforward and simple mechanism of separating. Now, I didn't invent that. That was from the old days of driver navigator pair programming. But anyways, I could come back and go more. The last thing after illumination is verification. So those 4 steps from somebody had put into the chat, I noticed it came up. Matt or somebody. So
yeah, I wanted to ask what was the fourth one. I forgot. Thank you.
Yeah. So that process, and you can easily look this up online. Ask ChatGPT. But I read the book when you could only get it in paper. So it was like, that's a very old book. It's a 100-year-old book. So there we go. So, but I see others have hands up. So I love this kind of conversational style we're having right now. But please, Garrick, you've got things to say.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have the original anarchist, Woody.
Yeah.
The only rule is no rules.
No rules.
No rules.
Because whatever I think is right is going to turn out to be wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, so if I say this is how to do it, I really feel that's a disservice.
Yeah.
Like, here's one way to think about doing it. Here's one thing to try. That makes a lot more sense. I'm not giving advice. I'm suggesting options. I'm giving my opinion. You know, it's different.
Yeah. You know, I had sorry, Garrick, did you lower your hand or?
Yeah, well, I was about to just wanted to point out a couple things. Number one, you mentioned that hammock-driven development. I recently spotted on YouTube, there's an entire documentary called Closure, the Documentary, which is talking with Rich Hickey, and he highlights the hammock. I had to stop it. I only got like a few minutes in, but the first few minutes were really fascinating. Particularly if you've got an affinity for list-based languages, if you have a joy of their simplicity. It was, like I said, I haven't finished it all the way through, but it was pretty interesting, at least in the first few minutes. That was one point. The other thing is when you're talking about the whole breakdown of preparation, incubation, illumination, and verification. I also thought back to the old pre-Agile. People saying, well, this is, a lot of the Agile stuff is just plan, do, check, act, right? And the point there is like, yes, but even then, you're not doing it in monthly cycles. You're supposed to be doing it in a matter of days or weeks at the most. So feedback, as we Agilists always keep banging the drum, still seems to be the thing that people love to not focus on, is understanding the value of rapid feedback. And being an AI skepticist and antagonist, one of the things that I do appreciate out of it is it makes hypothesis dirt simple in a lot of cases. Things that we might not be willing to try out in code because it might take a day or two, or it might even take 3 or 4 hours. If we can hammer something out in a few minutes as a spike or a prototype with it, that's really appealing in terms of getting us more feedback and more information, as well as getting some validation.
But
those tiny loops. This is so simple. Almost any other discipline understands this. I like chemistry class in high school was not hours and hours of trying to figure something out. It was doing experiments, and I think that's a good thing to learn. It's like the experiments, the learning. This is what in Beyond Budgeting they call ambition to action. The learning happens when we do the experiment. I've seen people who they're trying to learn to do test-driven development, and they start writing the test, writing the code to fulfill, seeing it fail, writing the code to fulfill it, and then thinking about, will this pass the test or not? Where you just hit the button, you'll find out instantly. So we can speed up the loop by having the test in place. We did the experiment of writing the code. Let's see what happened. And then we could say, well, why didn't that pass, or why did that pass? But if you do that in tiny, rapid loops, the travel between an idea and the value of the experiment is really rapid. And when we do this as a group, this is why I love mob programming or software teaming. Everybody is taking advantage of everyone else's insights, taking advantage of everyone else's misdirection or misthinking, because often we learn the most when we thought something was one way and it isn't. I love it when a senior person goes, I didn't think that was going to work. Or some junior person says, why did that work? You know, we will ask those questions of ourselves, and we don't get that experiment. We don't get that feeling without doing the experiment. We don't get that benefit, is what I mean.
Yeah. And you know, Garrick, it all boils down to the batch sizes.
Batch sizes, yeah.
Totally, because you know, if my batch size is large, that means I've invested upfront a lot of my, you know, thinking power, and now I'm not very keen on being disproved by the feedback. So I avoid, like you say, I postpone feedback because I don't want to be disappointed.
Good point.
You know, but if I invested, like Woody says, few seconds, then, you know, I'm okay with cutting my losses. It's not a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn into my pet. The big problem that I'm seeing as I'm teaching TDD courses is this fetish over the code, fetish over, this is my pet. I conceived of it, I built it, and now please don't tell me that it doesn't work. I'm really upset. So people postpone that feedback. So, but
so we get the value of being able to easily throw something away. We're not so attached. So everything we do we have to be willing to throw it away. But I'm dying to hear what Matt's got to say.
Just before Matt, just quickly, sorry, Matt. Guys, Rich Hickey, there's two other things that the best thing that software engineer could do is watch these two talks. One is the value of values, and the other one is simplicity is not easy. These are like fundamental lessons in our in any profession. The value of values, I think, is a killer talk that everybody must understand, and also that what we conflate simplicity ease with familiarity, and so what's easy to me is something I'm familiar with may not be easy to Matt, and vice versa. But simplicity is objective. If it's simple to you, to me, to others, and simplicity is very difficult to accomplish, which is basically maximizing the amount of work not done. Counterintuitive. Over to you, Matt. Sorry for the long.
No, that's fine. Oh man, what an awesome discussion this has been. So I just wanted to weigh in as someone who's kind of like on the extreme edge of, you know, trying to horizontally scale my work and all of these kinds of things. I'm kind of like the perfect candidate for coming into an environment like this and learning something new and getting back to the basics in terms of collaboration, in terms of planning. You know, before AI, when I was running teams, I was one of the biggest fans of the agile way of thinking. I wouldn't call myself an agilist, but you would hear me preach on and on about commit small, commit often, frequent stakeholder feedback. I mean, I loved getting into the weeds with my PM and just, you know, iterating. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And so, you know, I was the first person to really try to have that mentality. And then when AI hit, you realize that the planning is like the most critical part for any kind of success. And so my days today are basically planning and kind of guiding and orchestrating. And the hardest part, I think, of my job is figuring out how much do I plan ahead? Because you know, it's really tempting to go, I am pretty sure I could build out, you know, this gigantic feature in one run using elves, or, you know, like using this pipeline. And I have to fight that temptation because I know that if I try to bite off more than I can chew and I get 70% of the way through and the model takes a direction, you know, I've got to, and I don't like it, I've got to undo all that. So in my like flow and what I'm trying to do, I'm really trying to have the discipline of not maxing out the capabilities of the model and instead like setting proper expectations for my clients and my colleagues and my partners and all these people that I'm working with. And instead getting back to the basics of don't try to boil the ocean in one fell swoop, regardless of what these frontier models can do. Like do enough to verify with the stakeholder and those kinds of things. So just wanted to offer from the perspective from someone who's, you know, like at the pretty extreme edge of trying to do agentic type scaling, that I'm just really looking forward to these sessions, because I think there's going to be a lot of takeaways, especially as I've never done mob programming. I've never done extreme programming. I've never been part of a team that cared about TDD. I worked by myself for like the first 10 years of my career. I didn't even work on a traditional engineering team until like 2021. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for me to certainly take some stuff away from this.
Thank you, Matt. I would say you're in much better position. Like I've been teaching a lot of TDD courses, and the hardest people to make transition are people who are really very experienced, very entrenched, people who never tried it, just, you know, move into it with no problems. So you're going to have a lot of fun. Woody?
Yeah, so there is a lot here, and Matt, I really appreciate what you're saying. First of all, the first 15 years of my coding was always done solo, because I was writing software for myself. It was software I would use, and maybe an employee or two in a different field than software development. But we needed to automate things, and that's what I was doing. And I love working alone. I like being in my headspace, and I love, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. When I started working with other people, though, it was about the time that pair programming was starting to be written about. So I don't know exactly when that came out. I think I started working with other people doing software somewhere around 1996, 97. And it became clear real quick that there is a huge benefit when you're working with someone else to work closely with them. And there's the picture sometimes of the way a software development works is somebody clearly defines what they want, and then they hand it to a software developer. And I could see almost instantly that does not work. Now, in workshops over the years, one of the things I ask is, okay, you want estimates. Everybody wants estimates. They don't work. They're nonsense. You know, we can argue about that some other time, but everybody wants estimates. So I would ask the people in the workshop, okay, somebody's just giving you this requirement. Let's say it's 4 pages of something they want to have done. And they hand it to you and say, we need an estimate for this. They go away. Well, what's the first thing you do? You start looking it over, and then you call them or send them an email or whatever and say, hey, we need to have a meeting. I have some questions. Well, that's proof right there that we should have been collaborating in creating those requirements, not just in answering questions about them now. We think that we can figure out everything ahead of time, but I challenge anyone in the world to prove to me that they are such a good collaborator or a good capturer, writer of what they're trying to do, that they can just hand it off to someone else. This almost never works. So this was just an indication to me that we need to collaborate on this. And as pair programming started being written about, and I was reading about that and going, I like this idea. And then in the first few collaborations that I did seriously in work, I found out that there were bottlenecks, and we need to find out where the bottlenecks are. And eventually 10, 15 years later, I landed on the 4 big ones for me at Hunter, where we kind of solidified our use of mob programming. Was the product owner, the database people, the testers, and the infrastructure people. We could think of it as maybe DevOps or that kind of, but anyways, we wanted to reduce the queuing that occurs when these people work separately. So when at first it was just developers, and we could see everything was moving really quickly when the developers worked closely together. That's what pair programming. But as we found these other bottlenecks, we tried to reduce those. The first one we were able to do was to bring a tester onto the team. And all of a sudden, that part of the whole thing sped up. Then we realized we needed to entice the product experts, so you could think of them as product owners, to be part of the team. A first-class member of the team, not somebody outside the team that we interact with. And the same thing with users. We put users and product owners into the same thing. We tried to entice them to draw the product, the database people in, to draw the infrastructure people in. Eventually, we got it to where we're doing our DevOps. The developers are doing the operational stuff too. The DevOps, we are capable of deploying things. We can do that too. We just need to figure out the mechanisms. Most database work can be done by, someone other than a database expert. But if we involve the database expert, things would go quicker. Eventually, we got to the point where these people are all full-time parts of the team. And this is where, to get to the end of this little bit, I believe that roles are really harmful in software development. That if we separate people into roles, we have a natural tendency to eventually have different departments. Oh, he's a product expert, he's a tester, she's a database expert. Well, eventually we have a database department, a testing department, and a product department, and so on. We separate and make it more difficult for people to be connected than we should have. Now, AI is going to change this in some ways, but I don't think it's going to remove it or eliminate it. Anything we do where some other human is involved implies a type of collaboration. And that means if we're writing something that someone else is going to use, that implies collaboration. Whether we do it in the best way possible or in the most ineffective way possible. This is what this is all about. Not everything needs to be done as a team, but I would say if we went back through history, we would find humans wouldn't exist if it wasn't for pre-humans who figured out, hey, if we band together and work as a team, we could get bigger brains because we can take care of a kid for a year or two before they're old enough to take care of themselves. And we need to do this as a group. Some creatures before us figured this out so we could exist. Thank you, pre-creatures. Yeah.
Thanks, Woody. So, you described the importance of working together. I just want to add my biggest peeve as I'm moving from organization to organization is, I think, even worse. I always kind of either explicitly or implicitly get pointed out, look, Alex, when they're showing me the lay of the land, over here we have people who are paid to think, and over here we have people who are paid to work.
Yeah.
That's the most, I don't know why it's so important to divide those thinkers from doers.
Yeah.
And that's what mob programming is trying to resolve, I think, is to bring us all together and we're all thinking and doing on a rotation and in a loosely kind of, which we're trying to do today. So maybe, guys, we have 3 people, and let's not, after you 3 guys finish, let's move into some actual. So over to you, Paul.
Yeah. God, it's so much to go through, but I'll keep it quick because I think we all want to kind of get onto the action, I suppose. But yeah, just to say, I mean, come as no surprise that I agree with everything that you've both been saying there. And just from my perspective as well, like maybe in a similar way to yourself, Woody, like I started off as somebody who was the kind of, stereotypical headphones on, and I've got headphones on now, but you know what I mean? Headphones on, kind of blocking out. Do you know what I mean? And like I was that guy who wanted to sit in a corner and I didn't want, I wanted to just write code, and I saw that as my job, like the first year or 2 of my career. And thankfully I worked with some really good people over the years who quickly kind of showed me that, there were better ways. And now, because I'm a contractor at the moment, and when I move around, one of the things that frustrates me the most is when I join teams, and most teams that I tend to join for whatever reason, you'll see that you'll go into Jira because it's always Jira as well, which is a whole other thing in its own right? But you go into Jira, and the first thing you'll see, there's a usually to-do column, doing, and then it's testing or PR column, review PR, testing, and all this. And okay, so it's slightly, I mean, it's related, I suppose. Like testing, I don't think is a separate process. You do TDD, you work as a team, that's fine. Like, I don't think that should be a separate process. But the thing that drives me mad now is the PR thing, and it's the way that reviews are seen as this asynchronous process, and it's when you're used to working a different way, it's so painful. Like there's teams in the place that I'm working at now that other teams not that I'm not directly working on, but I look at their GitHub repositories, and it's normal for them to have PRs that last for like a week, 2 weeks, with like 30 comments on. And the way we work is it's pair programming. Sometimes we do like a mob as well, depending on what we're doing. And we've always had this rule: if you're pairing, you're allowed to just we still have the PR process, like the PR physically is created, but you're allowed to self-merge. So basically you just wait for CI to pass and then you merge, and that's it. And if you if you have a need, like say, I don't know, say somebody is working different hours or something like that. If you've got a need for it, you can say, okay, can somebody else take a quick look, whatever. But 9 times out of 10, more than 9 times out of 10, I would say, it's just straight in. And you end up with problems are solved faster. It's just so much better.
So
I won't keep going
because queuing. This is about queuing, and we should be talking about queuing sometime. But this ticket-based management is horrific, and PRs have no place within their business. Therefore, open source kind of stuff where people are collaborating totally asynchronously. That we think we need to be asynchronous is a smell, a management smell. That we think we need to do these things, that's questionable to me. But thanks for sharing those things.
Yeah. Nicholas?
Yes. Just a little reminder that I think a mob session and all kind of working synchronously, like pair programming or something like that. It's all about collective knowledge and collective ownership also.
Yes.
And an opportunity to build the mental model together. Because what we can observe with agentic development and not AI augmented development is that we delegate everything to AI, and I think we lose the opportunity to build the mental model. And another little important reminder, it's we can't have a mob session or pair programming without psychological safety and values like humility and something like that. I think we can see also egoless programming or something like that.
Egoless programming. I like that. That's good.
It's a little reminder.
Yes. Kent Beck would say all of our code should look like the same really brilliant coder wrote everything. And so we tend to get too invested in the way we think things should be. I've often been in sessions where a team is talking about their coding standards and they want to argue about the coding standards. My thing is, any standard we want to have, let's just start using it. We'll learn whether we like it or not, but let's not talk about it too much. Let's just pick them. I want it my way, you want it your way. Well, I'm happy to do it your way, because we just need the standard, not it doesn't matter what it is. We'll learn what was good later. And we want to make it easy for us to work on this code, easy at least as it was today, tomorrow. We want to keep it easy to work on over the next years. And I think that AI doesn't detract from any of these things. I think AI is just, we are definitely going to be TDD is going to morph into something slightly different, maybe a lot different, and so on. But I keep going on, and I know there are other hands up. So let's hear from everyone.
Yeah, just a real quick. I have a little diatribe that I called out in chat there about PRs, which is one of my favorite things to point out. That 2006 Google I/O, when Linus Torvalds announced the availability of Git, and that he was #1 concerned with not trusting other people's code, and in certain areas of the kernel, not caring if some of it compiled. And to this day, I love to point that out to developers and say, you have to understand that the whole world has grabbed onto this tool that he positioned towards solving his problems. That doesn't mean that we need to take all of it wholesale and use every feature. I say as I beat the drum for trunk-based development. Anyways, but before that, I just wanted to call out real quick, the thing that's antagonized me since day one that I got out of college and started learning how the corporate world works is that the real problem is the people that in any large organization are making the decisions about the cost and the financing are incapable of doing the work and understanding the work that the people at the bottom need to do. I have never met someone in finance that if I were, and this is a very crude way to put it, put a gun to their head, could write hello world in any language. They have no context. And yet to this day, they're making those decisions. They're structuring things in terms of allocating money. And in a lot of cases, worse, they're so often, all of the compensation and evaluation things I've never seen them done at a team level. it always gets down to a question of, but how do we evaluate the individual? And the thing that I always want to say is, you're asking the wrong question.
Yeah.
You know, how's the team functioning? And then later on, as I've often threatened, I then want to carpet bomb the HR office with copies of Drive by Daniel Pink, and point out that salary is a hygiene issue. Okay, if you're competitive in terms of the market, don't worry about anything else. Worry about your people. And
there's a great talk. I'll see if I can. Gregor Holfe, I think is his name, but he worked at Google. He went on to other things, and I think he went back to Google. But he talks about who does the people whoever's in charge of the product that we're creating, whatever. Who do they answer to? So there are different concerns within an organization, and finance is one of them. And yet, finance is often focused on cost centers. And if we are thinking of software development and creating product and so on as being part of the cost thing, we're really in trouble. It's a value thing. And now I'm not an economist, I'm not an accountant or whatever, not a financial person, but I think that we need people making the decisions who are capable of thinking in these circles as you're stating there. But thanks for sharing those things. That's great.
And I would just add, sorry to interrupt you, Woody. Are you okay, Woody?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just quickly add, I spent over 20 years managing development departments, and I don't want to try and find excuses, but the hardest thing is to be capable of expressing the expectations. If the team is not clear on what I'm expecting from them, then nothing is going to happen, and it's going to be forever this kind of chasing your own tail. But that's why many managers resort to measuring the metrics, measuring the outputs, not the outcomes.
Yes.
Because it is much easier to specify, burn down charts and how many, story points, etc. That's like a no-brainer, but it's an empty calorie kind of metric.
Those are proxy measurements.
Proxy. It is very hard for the manager to be capable of expressing really specific quality expectations, and when that happens, you see teams just deliver no problem. But that's down to the manager.
I'll interrupt you in reverse. The things that count cannot be measured. The things that we can measure don't count. Exactly. And so there's a saying, I think, from Russell Acuff, where he says that when a manager can't measure what matters, they start then what they can measure becomes what matters.
Important. Yeah,
and exactly. This is really harmful. So there we go.
Expectations cannot be measured. They have to be expressed. And if you can express them articulate and crisp, then you get the results you expect. But if you're muddying the waters, then nothing's going to happen. Okay, let's finish with Yona, and then let's go into work. Over to you, Yona.
Yes, thank you. So at first, I want to agree with Woody to what you said much earlier. I think we should make you said something about standards. I agree. We should have standards, and most importantly, they should be like a parameter. We shouldn't have them hard-coded. We should have a way to easily change them. I mean, if we have certain rules like 120 lines and we want to change it later to 80, it's going to be a lot of work to change it, even for an LLM. It's going to be a lot of edits. But yeah, we should make it definitely something to put in the spec, or much better even. What I find about code quality, a lot of the rules a lot of the standards I like to apply to my own code I can enforce with linting rules. I have a good library of them, a good collection in Python. I'm sure there's also ways to do this in JavaScript, and we're going to work in JavaScript today. It would be interesting if we could maybe start by agreeing at least on a format how to enforce certain rules. before we even start collecting the ones that we want to have in the repo.
Well, I like what you're saying, and I think what it comes down to, you see if I'm wrong, I have this idea always that if we're going to have some kind of rules, we consider them candidate rules. That we never turn them into concrete. They never become that we do things this way because that's the way we do things. It's always like everything's.
It's really just very simple things. For example, in Python, you can catch generic exceptions, which is kind of an anti-pattern. There's linting rules that can prevent that. And that's kind of stuff I'm talking about.
So I'm really on board with that.
In many organizations, they do it with code reviews, which I think is also an anti-pattern, because it's something you're repeating yourself all over again.
Yeah, that's right. So code reviews most of it should be automated. If we start saying, well, here's a pattern we noticed, that gets automated. Let's stop it. I've worked at places. My first experience as being a team lead, I'd only been working in software for as a living for it was my second contract. So 3 months into it, and I got put in as a team lead because I was older than everyone else. What I noticed was a couple of things that were said. The code that was put into the repository was usually not even compiling. So that was a big problem. And that there were no standards to follow. It could have all been automated. Like you run it through, like nowadays we have linters and things like that, that we let's automate this stuff. So I'm sure we have a good chance. We're in a good position for doing these sorts of things right now.
Yeah. I have everything. I did that already, like very freshly. I actually, in the past couple of months, I built everything in a way that I wanted to build things like in my past 4 employments. And most of the fights I was having were about doing stuff in a way that unblocks you, that gives you a fast feedback loop, like deploy to production in 10 minutes, no problem.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I want to disagree with Nicholas. I don't see any manual coding, or I would like to generalize upon that. I would like to say we should be really careful with the points where we do manual editing, because at some point we are going to do. But if we do AI crafting, I'd say we start at a spec, and then we can maybe say, okay, we are experts, so we're gonna hand edit like configuration files because we really know what we want. That kind of stuff. That I just want to be really careful with touching things.
It can be a big up from design.
Say again?
It's not the way for baby step. What you mean?
Oh, I mean, depends on what you consider a baby step. I'd say as an AI craftsman, I'd say a baby step is 1 prompt. Can't be smaller than that.
Yes. And what is your point about you disagree with me?
I think you said something about coding by hand.
Not. My point is if you delegate everything from, for example, an external agent, and you not master what is doing, you lose the opportunity to build the mental model. But of course, we need to use AI in an AI augmented way, but to speed the baby step, but not to externalize everything. I think it's the main difference between AI assisted coding and development or agentic development. When you externalize everything to an agent, and the agent do everything in a big batch step. It's my point.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'd say that's a really individual choice on how to pace that exactly. Because for myself, it's like when do I interject? Like sometimes I even interrupt my agent while it's working. Like when do I do that? Like when it's doing something wrong, but it's when it's in a point where I know better. And sometimes I know better, And sometimes I just have to stop because the agent maybe knows better, and I have to review what it's doing.
Of course, but it's we can see now some new mental health issue like AI brain fry. You can see a issue like this, and I think this comes from task switching, and we don't know what the agent is doing, and something like that. Yeah.
It's a thing. Trust me, it's a thing.
Guys, we are getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because I believe last time we agreed that the first mock programming session is going to be old school, old-fashioned, 19th century, hammer and chisel. Because today my intention is for us to just go through the mechanics and figure out the ropes. And then the next session we will involve AI and see how that plays out.
There are tons of concerns, and we will all have, there's going to be different sides to these things. So I'll remind us of William Isaac's book, Dialogue. It's like, our conversation has a center, but not sides. We don't take sides. So we will expose the different sides, but we're not going to, that's not the value of this. The value is the learning, not the arguing or the saying, well, I want to do it this way, I want to do it that way. My dad was an engineer. He used to say, there's 1,000 right ways to do anything. So we must never think ours is the one right way. And I go along with that. He was well known for his problem solving. He worked for the Pacific Bell. The Bell people were all pretty good, knowledgeable people. And so he was well respected in the work that he did. I go along with this. There's 1,000 right ways to do anything. What our own experience has taught us is only a drip in the bucket. We are getting to take advantage of everybody here. All this knowledge.
Okay, so I'll give a concession to Garrick, and that's it. We're going to move to work.
Yes.
So my last element was just playing a little bit of throwing rocks / devil's advocate, which was, if the models are so good, if we break down and propose something as an action, and if we have some notion of what too big a step is, can't we have it evaluate its own plan and determine whether or not it's taking too big of a step?
Certainly.
Yes. That's part of any professional pipeline. You have a lot of that kind of stuff beforehand. It's not just talking into a chat window. So yeah, absolutely, Garrick. That is how it's done.
Good to hear, because that's what I'm fairly new to.
What's interesting on that front as well is, and I think it might not be this session where we do that if we're doing kind of old school actual manual coding, but maybe when in future sessions when we're doing the AI side of it, I think a big part of that will be actually creating skills ourselves along the way, and that's the kind of thing, to me, when I hear that, the first thing I think is we could create a skill for that. Do you know what I mean? And then anyway. Cool.
Okay, so what we can maybe do is, if we get somewhere today in the pedestrian way, then maybe next time we do the same thing with AI and compare how it went. I don't know. To be honest with you, I've never mobbed with AI. So it's going to be a huge learning curve for me as well. I'm going to learn from you guys.
It's very similar.
Hopefully.
Yeah. My experience so far has shown that. Yeah. Okay,
great to hear. And another thing is, this is my first time I'm doing mob programming online. I'm used to doing it in a location with people around one computer. So again, the mechanics are, I kind of hope we are okay. I chose this product called Mob SH because it's kind of simplifies this drudgery of, git pull, get, commit, etc., push. And also, I think here we need to maybe agree on how many drivers we have, or how many people do we have here that have the environment set for Node.js, Jest, and Mob SH, so that we can rotate on driving. Any who here came prepared, or do we have to do some extra work?
I have a node installed, and I feel confident I'm going to be quick installing Jest and Mob SH.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got everything installed, so that's a go.
Anyone else?
I noticed.
Sorry.
Everything installed.
All right.
But for
So-
just enough for Jest, you just need to execute the package isn't and pim install, and it will install for you the Jest library.
Say again.
Directly in the project from Alex. Maybe I will send you the GitHub link.
let me enable the chat.
You just need to execute npm install, and in the package isn't the Jest library is the reference, so it will install the Jest for you.
Yep. Well,
Okay.
one thing I noticed straight away is in the library itself, the package JSON isn't committed, so it might make sense to just do a quick commit where we commit the lock file, not the package JSON. So the lock file isn't committed. So if you do an npm install, it'll create the lock file straight away. So it might be worth just quickly pushing that. I don't know. Otherwise, you'll get. Well, when I tried to use the mob command a minute ago, it complained because I'd generated the package lock. But I guess we can just start and go from there.
Okay, so these are the mechanics I was hoping we can sort out, iron the kinks today, so that moving forward, this is a second nature. We have to think about this, and then we can bring in the big guns and start rolling. So for today, I created this repo. I call it Honeypot Sanitize, and I'm going to eat my own dog food. And as a manager, I'm going to try and express my expectation. What this came about is with our AI Craftspeople Guild website, we have a place where people can sign the manifesto. And the other day, we noticed that there was a bot spamming us. And so we don't have any sanitation on that form. So somebody can, So if we can start working today, maybe on kind of a toy project, just we're not trying to build anything seriously, but just to work as a mob on how would we gradually go into sanitizing the incoming form, so that we don't have somebody maliciously deface our site and inject some unwanted content. The form itself has no validation. And, I thought maybe we can start with just gradually in small baby steps as a mob, build, hopefully in TDD style, build some kind of a sanitation, and then if time permits, maybe even honeypot. I don't know if you guys are familiar with honeypot technology, that we try and detect, this is a bot, this is not a human. That's more sophisticated, I believe. But, we don't have to go do it today because there's a whole science behind honeypotting. So maybe, Paul, how about you be the first driver, I'll be the first navigator. The rules of the game are, we are on timer. The navigator driver pair are going to be working for, I say 5 minutes or so. And then when the timer goes off, then the driver may become the navigator and somebody else drives. And so we go round and round in circles. I will maybe ask as a navigator. So, okay, the navigator driver, the dynamics is as Woody described. I am expressing, as a navigator, I'm expressing intentions, and the driver is actually implementing those intentions. Yeah. I don't care how these are going to implement it so long as my intentions have been met. And the best way to do that is by running tests. So, Paul, maybe you can, the first thing that my intention is to you, if you can write a test, a failing test. And another thing I just want to mention, there's lots of things to mention. The advantage of this approach is that our test will be the first client of the nascent code. So we have a nascent system, does not exist at all. But we can express our expectation from this yet to be built system by writing a test, and this test is going to fail because the system is not there. So we are automating some processing logic, I call them business policy rules. And the test is going to, little by little, grow the system and hit the system by some expectations. The system is broken because it cannot, we don't know what the system is. But slowly, by doing that, we're hoping to build a system that behaves as we expected, and also is structured in such a way that we can keep growing it without hitting the wall and saying, oh, this is a big ball of mud or ball of spaghetti, and now we have to go back and rewrite everything. So it's a little bit tricky, but I believe, Paul, if we maybe start with the first test, let's say the first failing test would be we send empty string to that yet to be system, imaginary system, and the system comes back to us and says, no, I don't accept empty strings. Just that. If you can write that test and run it, and we see it fail. And I'll start. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the only thing is, let me just make sure that the tests are actually running. So the other thing as well, I would normally use TypeScript, to be fair, but let's do this. So if I just do, hopefully this is all set up, so I should just be able to go. I'm just going to see if this works. I'm just going to say except true exactly. Yeah. Let's just do that. So if I just do npm test, let's see if that works.
So is anyone here clear? Okay with this thing that we like to start from a broken system? We are very pessimistic. We like to always see failure. Failure is number one in my head always. And then once we have nailed the failure, we have actually engineered the failure. It's not some crazy failure we don't know where it came from. It came from us. And I know what this failure means. And now, if we as a mob fix that failure, then we have regression. We know it's never ever going to happen again. But that way, I'm confident that we're building a system. Go ahead, Nicholas.
Just in order to switch the driver after, in the .gitignore, could you add the .idea on the package like JSON? And the other thing is, should we start with the mob command start minutes? Start 5, I think in your.
Oh yeah. So Paul, if you can do what's the command? Remind me, Nicholas.
Mob start. Mob start. And the argument is minutes, so 5, I think.
So when
okay.
Maybe do mob start 5. Mob start.
What I'll do, let me split my screen half and half.
Okay.
So normally I work on a big screen, and what I normally do, just to be clear, I normally use AI, but as a when I'm coding, I would normally have like a really big screen, and I've got a lot of screen real estate. So I have the test running like this in watch mode. But what I'll do for this, I think.
No, let's do a.
It's been a long time.
Let's do a low rent approach, low tech, low rent.
Yeah. Okay. So if I do npm, I'm going to have the test running there. And so how do I start the? I'm not used to the mob command. So is it just mob start? Is that it?
Mob start 5,
and then space 5. It's going to give you 5 minutes.
Okay, hang on. Is that worked? So mob start cannot start clean working tree. So it needs a clean working tree, and I think it's because can I just do a quick commit now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get it all in working.
Have you commit .idea on the package like JSON in the Gitignore? Yeah.
You mean the package? Because you would want the package lock to be committed, right?
Okay. Just the .idea. So.
Oh, I'm not using. I'm using VS Code.
Visual Studio.
Yeah. So if I just do, do you want me to work on a branch, or are we happy with main? Main is going to be fine.
Paul, right? Well, okay. Here's the deal. You pull off the main branch. So you must be on the main branch. Then when you hit mob start, it's going to automatically create a feature mob branch, your local.
Yeah.
And then when you do mob next, it's going to push, and then the next driver is going to, when they say mob start, it's going to pull automatically to there. So it's kind of a shorthand.
Okay, so I've done git mob start now. Oh, hang on.
Did you say 5 minutes?
Yeah, I did, but it's giving me an error. So hang on, I think it's permission. Yeah, okay. So I think we're going to need permission setting on the repository. So do you want everybody to just give you their GitHub names, GitHub usernames, so you can set that? Because it's giving me
he denied to CityPol. Yeah, so
it's
need to add the right Alex, I think.
Yeah. So my username is CityPol. If you're okay to add that. I presume that you just need to, maybe if everyone puts their names in. Okay, I think it might have actually started the session though. It's just that it tried to push. Okay, I think. Do you want me to start again? I'll just.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How do I
we, figure out the ropes, right?
Yeah. Do I do mob stop? Is that it?
Yeah, you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that gonna?
We're learning.
Hang on a minute.
All right. So. Oh shit! No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll be right back. Give me a sec, guys.
Yeah. I think I can do mob reset. It looks like, so just to start us again. Mob reset. Oops. Well, there is no remote branch, right? Okay. I'm just waiting for the permission to. Maybe I can just start and then because if Alex. Shall I just start? Can you clone your own work and work on that? Can you clone your own? No, I didn't think of that. Maybe I could do that. But then it'll be the same for somebody else, the next person, right? If I do that.
But it's be part of this meeting. Huh? It's to set up the mob environment.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess in the spirit of learning, I guess we're learning.
Failure is part of the process.
Yeah. Just kind of need Alex to set this though. I mean, I guess in the meantime. Oh, sorry. I need to start it on a clean branch. So I've done a git stash. But as soon as I do that, I need. I'll just start and we'll see where we go with it. Okay, so I've done that. Okay, so I still get the error. I believe the session has started. I think it's timing in the background. So it does say here. So I'll just make a start on it and go from. Oh, are you there, Alex? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. I'm listening. I'm just
okay.
Are
you able to?
Sorry, installing the authenticator. It's just like.
Yep. Oh, is it an issue for you to change the permission? Is that?
Yeah, but I need to. I have the authenticator on my GitHub, but it's on my phone. Is installing. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Murphy's Law is like kicking ass, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. You just need to let this kind of thing unfold.
Yep. And then go on vacation to recover.
That's right. Or learn how to not need to recover.
Okay, so City Paul.
Yep, that's me.
City Paul. You're an urban guy, right? Okay. You are added now. Hopefully that will work. Sorry about the glitch, guys.
It's okay.
Who
Let's
else
see if
wants
that
to
works.
be?
Oh, it's still
permission.
You are the collaborator now.
Yeah, but it still says permission denied to City Paul. Did you give me right permission?
And maybe on the main branch, because I know it's from the main branch. It's a new
Paul, it says pending invite. You need to go to your inbox and accept.
Oh. Yeah, of course I do. 1 second, I'll do that now.
So next one on the list is
cool. I've done that.
Now it should work.
Hey, there we go. Okay, so it's now timer ends in approximately 5 minutes. Okay, so
Kelly,
I'll do.
Sorry, Kelly, you need to go and accept the invite. Who else is? Let's see. Yona.
Okay. So, if everyone can see in the background, so I'm running just in a watch mode now. So the way that this should work is if I update anything here. So if I change this, so if I press A, I can run all the tests. You can see that fails. So the tests are running. That's good. Just to quickly show you, if I do this and I hit save, it should rerun as it has done there. So it reruns on save essentially. So what I'm going to do now is you wanted me to say it should not accept an empty string, right? So let's just do what should we call the file? What is this thing that we're building?
Just call it form sanitizer, something like that. Doesn't matter. It's a joke. It's a toy.
Yeah. See, this is me putting my English spelling in there. No Z in sanitizer.
Yeah, no problem.
That's okay. So it's been a while since I've done pure JavaScript. To be honest, I can't even remember how you do an export in.
You know what? You can ask Claude.
Yeah, well, I think it's module exports, isn't it? What inside VS Code? Like, I don't normally, as I say, I don't normally do this anymore. But
Matt, I cannot find you on GitHub once.
I think it's just module.exports anyway. I'm pretty sure it is.
Hey, Alex. It's won't, W-O-N-T, won't see me coming with G at the end.
I know. I copied it from the chat, but when I...
Did I mistype it?
When I put it in, it says, cannot find a GitHub account matching won't see me coming.
Did you leave the G? Okay, well, that's weird because I know that's right.
Just verbatim copied it. Didn't type it. Check it out. Go to GitHub and maybe...
Here, I'll send my profile link.
Yeah, just click on the upper right hand corner and see your profile. Copy that exact.
Sure.
Okay, so I guess first question to ask then. Sorry, I'm probably doing this wrong here, aren't I? Because I shouldn't be. Do you want to tell me what to do, Alex? Sorry,
okay. So you have this form sanitizer, and it's in the source folder, and so you want maybe to create a skeleton in the you have a source folder, right? So create a new file, export that function. And that function should accept a string, however you want to call it. You call it, And so when that function accepts some value, for now, because we are chasing fast feedback, typically Canback advises in TDD just return a hard-coded string. Just return, sorry, I do not accept empty strings. For now.
Okay.
No logic, just knee-jerk.
Okay.
So we go back to the test.
This is the test, sorry, yeah.
Oh, this is the test, yeah. So in the test, you need to pass, before you expect, you need to, arrange, act, assert, right? The 3 A's in the test. So the arrange part is like you are passing empty string to that system yet to be. So that's your first statement. Second, actually, the first statement would be you prepare that variable, but we can shortcut. This is the act part. And then when the system acts, you now expect it returns some value. And in this case, the test should fail. So maybe change that I do not expect an empty string to something else so that we see it fail.
Well, it's failing because I've not done the implementation yet, so you can see.
Okay, but just to be clear that it is only accepting valid return value. Change that expected value to just add X to the end of it, just so that it fails again. Can you do that? At the end, just put X. Yeah. So now, what do you have in your actual source implementation in your form sanitizer? If you go to your actual implementation, so here you would just return hard-coded value. I do not accept. Here in your function, you're returning hard-coded value.
Yeah, it's. So I think there's a. Sorry, I think. Oh, it's just told me the 5 minutes is expired. Just so. Yeah, there's a problem with the import here, but I can pass that over. How do I do that now? I heard it played a voice in my head. It said mob next.
Can you start again so that we finish this part, because we were losing a lot of time back and forth.
Okay. You want me to start? Okay.
Yeah, start again. Start 5. Yeah.
Okay, I think hang on, including committed changes. I think I can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I do that and then just mob start 5, like a second? So if I go like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's for to continue. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So to summarize, we have a test that is passing in an empty string and then expecting the system to come back and say, look, I'm not accepting empty strings, but we want to purposely make it fail. So you added X to it. Go back to your implemented function, and in here, remove X. Yeah. And so that's the expected return. And when you run it, it should fail, right?
Yep. Yep. Fails. You can see here.
Fails. Okay. Excellent. Now go back to your test and remove X and run it again.
Yep.
It should
passes.
Pass. Awesome. So first, we have a first solid regression. We have enabled the system to tell us I'm not expecting empty strings. Time for the next test. What do you guys suggest, or should I give you a suggestion? Maybe the next test should be maximum length. Maybe you give it some very long string, but it actually accepts only up to 50 characters or up to 5. So we want to make another failing test here that is going to expect to send to the system certain lengths and expect if it's longer than what we a business policy rule says no longer than 15 characters, then the test should complain. It should say, look, this is too long. I'm not accepting that. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
You can follow the zombie acronym also.
Yeah. I mean, baby steps, but just learning the ropes and fooling around.
Yeah. So are you happy with 15 characters? Is that for now?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let's do that. So God, I've forgotten how annoying this thing can be.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, to make it easier, if I just go 1, 2, hang on, sorry, 1,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, because that's longer than
one longer. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, and then I guess we're gonna. Are you happy with that? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I know you should be. Are we happy with this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I told you my intention is to just catch the longer. Now, you as a driver, you decide how you want to do it. It's at your discretion. But we want to see the same cadence. It fails, then we'll go back and.
Yep. Okay. So, I mean, there you go. That's a very naive implementation, but
we will refactor later. Don't have to worry. We're always going for the quick feedback. You know, sooner the better, and then there's going to be a time when we're going to turn around and refactor and avoid all these like primitive obsession and etc.
It's actually making me feel a bit nostalgic. This because I've not since November. I've not written my own code, and it's like, oh, it's
yeah. Sorry to put you on the spot, but you know that.
It feels nice to be back in a TDD flow for real. You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
Shall we go for that? Well, shall we? I mean, it's suggesting this test to me that makes sense, but are you happy with that?
Should accept a string of 15 characters or less. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so let's do that. And then what do we expect as the return value here? Do we just go with
just go okay?
Okay,
right.
Let's do that. So we will say, well, yeah, to be okay is yeah. Oh God, I'm so used to TypeScript. You know, it's to equal. I think just like that. Okay, or just lowercase. Yeah. Okay, like that. Oops, sorry, not like that.
I mean, you can always ask Claude.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
There we go. Easy peasy.
So did you see it fail?
Yeah, I did. So I probably did it quite quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's failing now, and then just literally stick that in there. And
all right. So I mean, excellent. Thank you so much, Paul. I think we can now rotate. Who is going to be the next driver and who's going to be the next navigator?
Sorry. Yeah. That's cool.
I can.
Any volunteers?
Me.
Nicholas.
Yeah. Can share my screen.
Yeah. Who is navigating? Paul, you want to navigate?
I can navigate, sure.
Okay, so
take it away.
I need to just the ID.
The text is a little bit hard for me to read, but I wonder if that's because I'm still sharing. Let me just stop.
Yeah, you see my screen?
Yeah.
No.
Oh no, whose screen is it?
Okay.
Yes. I can see
now
now.
I need to pull, I think.
Is it git pull or is there a command to pick it up with the mob command?
The mob sh should do all the legwork.
Mob. So I need
when you do a mob next, it should grab whatever Paul has stashed, pull it down to your local. I mean, I'm also learning the ropes, guys. It's the first time, so
mob next.
No, mob next. Yeah.
Hey, Nicholas, can you just maximize your VS Code window there so that we get it bigger? Thank you.
Or if it's confusing, you can just do git pull.
Oh, yes, but I do it. What is the branch? Mob main. Okay.
Let me see.
Okay, so now I think I will see your test.
The branch is mob / main.
So I can, like you, all execute npm run test watch.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Not test found. Okay.
No. So if you type A, it'll run. So it does a diff between what you're on and main by default. But if you press A, it's in an interactive mode now.
Sorry.
Oh no, sorry, you're right. It says no test found.
A. Okay. Run all test. Oh, sorry. A. Okay.
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm here. Just mob start 5. I guess.
Yep.
And I need to make this include and commit change because I have the knittinger for the .idea.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So, happy collaborating. Okay. So now what?
So I guess if I'm navigating, maybe I can tell you to write some extra tests. So I guess one thing that we might have missed already. So if you scroll to the top, if that's okay, and so we've got should not accept an empty string, but what about an empty string that has spaces inside the string? Do you see what I mean? So like empty spaces.
Good point.
So let's
not accept
blank
with empty spaces.
Yeah.
With empty spaces. Okay. So
yeah,
I can do it like this. And what?
Oh no. Sorry, I meant an empty string with empty spaces. So I guess but that's interesting because maybe we'll say that, I mean, I don't know, I'm just making this up as we go, but maybe we'll say that we will accept a string that has empty spaces as long as it's below 15 characters, but an empty string which has multiple empty spaces.
So a lot of times you hear the term blank for that.
Yeah.
That, like there's all white space characters considered a blank string.
Okay,
I would reject that.
15 characters, but inside.
I would reject a string of up to 15 blanks. But what's the point in?
Okay. So 15. I think.
Oh no! What I meant was if there's a string with a space in the middle, you would accept it. So, but yeah, 15 blank is fine. Yeah.
Okay, 15, yeah. You can see it, 15 car,
yeah.
So with empty space, okay. With full empty space. And what is the expected string? It's
so probably the first one. So if you see at the beginning, I do not accept an empty string. So it's still an empty string, isn't it? I suppose. And
If
you
see
on,
I was going to suggest if just has parameterized, that might be a good example to have a space, 2 spaces, a space, and a tab.
Yep.
And then just rip through them.
Yeah, you can do that. So shall we start with 1 and then we'll change it to work in that way? Yeah. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess the error message, Nicholas, if you look on line 6, if you see line 6, so I would go with the same message that we have on line 6.
I do not.
Yeah.
Okay. The same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
now, if you go back here, how do you know the? Yeah, not good in the TypeScript also. But for what is the command for you can stream? Yeah, stream. Stream? No.
Oh my God, no, you're testing me.
I can upload also, I guess.
Again, it's okay to ask Claude.
Yeah. Can yes, I trust this project. Okay. Help me. Check string.
Yeah, there's quite a simple way you can do.
Oh, the string.
You can just use. I think if you just use, there's a replace method, so maybe you could do that.
Replace for just replace all space.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have a space, and then I think that would work. Well, you would need so it'd be comma and then like an empty string with no space. So
you might be able to use replace with a regex too.
Yeah,
you might be getting a little ahead.
Okay, I will try like this, and here.
I don't remember what JavaScript takes off the top. Of course, at this point, I really want to reach for Ruby because it has squeeze.
Oh, it's a replace all. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, so I think it would be replace all. So you need a space after the first parameter in replace all, and so it'd be like, but also like, yeah, you could do it for regex as well. But it would be, given the way you've done it there, yeah, space and then just an empty string with no space.
Oh, search value. Okay, search value, and you. Okay.
Yeah, like that. Oh no.
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think. Yeah. No.
To equal. Replace all. Return. I do not accept empty string.
I think the problem is that's a non-destructive, so it returns a value that's getting eaten. Like replace all returns a new value. It's not self-mutating, perhaps.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Like this.
Ask Claude.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
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 Oh, sorry. Oh shit! It's not my usual keyboard.
But you can ask Claude though as a.
Okay. Claude. You edit. You have the test.
I think it's got the answer there. Do you see? It's got regex. Do you see just above? So I think you could do that. The line that it's got there. I wish I could draw on your screen. It's right there in the terminal. Do you see? It says with a re.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think you could just do.
What? I think could you? It's to implement test. What the fuck? Okay.
Oops.
So it's stream. It's our first solution again. It's okay. We can see the test now. No. From sanitizer. It's the two equal. No, I do not accept.
Oh, I think it's the assertion is maybe.
Yeah. Now the assertion is not the same. Okay, I just need to send the message.
Yeah.
Okay. And now it's okay. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Everything passing. Okay. So
Yeah. Is it? I mean, if we still got time, what we could just quickly do in the implementation. There's already, I think, a refactor opportunity there because you can see we're on line 6. We return the same string in both conditions, so maybe we can just combine that together for now.
It's the pipe in my keyboard.
Oh, is it just the keyboard?
Oh, sorry.
Someone paste a pipe into Google. Hang on a second. I'll find it on my keyboard now. Yeah.
So the test.
Oh, it'd be refactor the implementation, I think, because if you say to refactor the test, it might change the test.
Well, yes, implementation.
It'll probably understand it anyway. I'm sure it'll figure it out.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same. Okay. Okay, so now, yeah.
There we go. And it passes still.
Okay. Yep. Now it's
nice.
Excellent. I think now's the time to rotate. Who is going to be the next driver?
I need to pause a mob.
Yep.
Stop.
Oh, I think it's mob next. I think you need to do.
Yona, you have a hand up?
Yeah.
I need to push.
I want you all to imagine I'm the passenger who just fell asleep, and you're just waking me up to pick up the driving, and you need to tell me where we are and what I have to do. So I have, in the meantime, I have prepared myself and installed the mob tool, and I will just share my screen, and then you will have to help me to find the highway.
Yeah. Excellent.
Second.
Nicholas, I think it's just mob next, I think is all you need to do.
So the handover is next. And guys, when the entire session is finished, we go mob stop. At that point, whatever is in our mob slash main branch, we're now going to push up and try to merge to the main branch. But while we're mobbing, we're just kind of hot potato. We're just tossing the mob branch, the feature branch, among our members until such time we're like, okay, we're done. Let's merge. This is mob stop.
Oh, I don't know.
So for Yona, if Nicholas, have you
no?
Did you do mob next? Is it now pushed to the?
Yeah, he asked me to push the code, but I need to remember my password.
Maybe go to GitHub and open that branch and see if what you did is in there. Because when Yona starts, that should push down to his local branch. Your latest work, yeah.
But
are we working on main or?
No, we are working on mob / main. So this is a feature branch, and
just I need to remember my password.
But, while we are mobbing, it's just being tossed around in a feature branch among the drivers. When we are done, completely done with the session, then we do mob stop. At that time, we are ready to merge to the trunk.
Yeah, but because
we don't need a PR because we know the mob agrees that everything's cool. There's no need for code review.
Yeah, the mob next do it for you, the git add -o and git commit. But I have an issue with to push the code with my password. So maybe we can just next the driver and.
Yeah. So go ahead, Paul.
I was going to say, Nicholas, do you have an SSH key set up? Because if you change it to use the SSH key rather than HTTP, then it'll just push it.
I think because we had also, only one test, I think you can switch the driver and don't lose the time.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
You say you cannot push or?
No, not. I have an issue with that, but anyway, we only did the one test, so.
Yeah, Yona, maybe try mob start. See what happens. And yeah, okay.
Okay.
You good? There?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, okay. So now you
just change my display mode to dark mode.
No problem. And,
Oh, yeah.
and how you open the code in your editor of your choice, and who is going to navigate? And
What are we opening? Start to test JS.
yeah, you open the test. Open the test. Who is going
This
to
one?
navigate?
Is this large enough? Like maybe this?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit larger, if you don't mind.
No worries.
Okay, cool.
That's good.
Okay, so who is here dying to navigate?
I'll try.
Okay,
Alex.
please. Thank
Why
you.
not?
Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
Okay. I've been paying attention. So do I typically have VS Code running on my thing, or am I just watching what Jonah's doing?
Oh, you're
As a
just watching.
navigator, you're just
By
watching.
the way, this is not VS Code. This is a Z.
Matt, as a navigator, you're just watching. You're
Okay.
like, imagine yourself sitting in the passenger seat, holding the map and telling the driver, okay, I want you now to take this exit and park over here and change the, but whatever you intend to do, the trip takes, and the driver is just gonna figure out how to get there.
Okay, fabulous. So what we're doing is we're creating a form sanitizer, right? And so the form data right now is just a string. So we're not accepting an empty string longer than a certain length. Should accept a string, 15 characters. Okay. So what are the other, I guess, what's the goal of this sanitization here? What are the bad values that we're looking for, Alex?
We want to, first and foremost, avoid somebody defacing our site by just shoving in some, I don't know. Because we felt defaced or we felt abused when this bot pushed something on our signatory form, and we're like, okay, what the hell is this? There was some kind of a promo, whatever it was, and we were all upset.
Why don't we look for? Why don't we reject any comment that has a URL in it to avoid people sending it off? So,
or scripts and any kind of nasty. You don't want things to be executed as JavaScript. Somebody just smuggles in some lousy code, right?
Right.
Can we ask Claude if there's a recommended library for detecting?
Oh, no. We don't want to go there. The purpose of this exercise is just to do everything kind of Stone Age way. We don't want to pull any dependency. Just for this, of course. There is a DOM. Look, guys, there is a DOM purifier.
Just a request. It's not about creating code with Claude. Just a question, like an oracle. I think this is different.
Guys, there is a product called DOM Purifier. Does everything beautifully. We will never be able to beat that one. So we're not solving the solved problems. We're just having fun here, getting our feet wet. DOM Purifier is phenomenal. I mean, it's going to do everything for us, right?
Okay. Awesome. So, Shauna, do you want to start with maybe a first test that looks for URLs, and maybe we can get a regex from Claude, unless you really enjoy regular expressions.
This is
go ahead.
Code. I'm running it with now Kimi K26 as a backend. That should be fine. Can you say what you need?
Yeah, sure. I was thinking maybe we'll have two tests. We'll look for a URL present.
Can I just stop you? Can we go one test at a time? See it fail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the first
pedestrian.
test is going to be testing for a URL in the comment. If we can do that, then we can move on to looking for scripts. So I think maybe what we can do is just, if we can get a regular expression that matches a URL using.
Matt, you are now dictating implementation. You're navigating your intention. Let Yona figure out how he's gonna use regular expression or not. That's his job. That's not your job.
Okay. Oh, got it. Thanks, Alex. Wasn't sure how much on the wheel I was supposed to. I guess I shouldn't be jerking the wheel from my passenger seat over here. End up in a ditch.
You're like my wife. My wife, she cannot stand sitting next to the driver because she's mentally driving. I'm going in the back seat and I'm going to close my eyes because she's totally involved here.
Hey, no complaints from me. Sounds good.
So to be clear, this is very much like prompting AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're actually adding a test with AI. But my take is we're going to see what happens, and we're going to see if it's fine. Because I'd say, because we have already 3 tests, it's going to be much more or less like the existing tests. I'm curious on what kind of complexity it's going to add.
Well, again, we are biased for action. Let's just do it and see what happens.
Yep.
And by the way, at the end of the day, this model has just been added to the Olama Cloud, I think today or yesterday, Kimike 2.6. I'm very excited about it because maybe some of you read my messages that I'm quite disappointed in the current Claude iteration.
I think it got a little confused there.
Okay, let's focus on the work, guys.
Is it?
So we go one test, we see it fail. We must see it fail. I don't trust tests that nobody ever saw fail.
Did it change the other tests?
It
looks like it
we
might
have now
Oh,
we
yeah,
have 4 pass tests.
Okay.
Did we add any new tests that we did not see fail? This is a critical point that I'm trying to make here.
I think the test that's been added is this line 21, right? I think.
Yes.
But it should be, yeah, but exactly what you said, Alex, that it seems to be passing, which is definitely a problem, right? We want to see it fail.
Every test must be seen as a failing test.
But if we see the assertion there, I think the assertion is kind of wrong anyway. So we can make the test fail with a correct assertion, right? Because it should be saying, yeah, it should not. Maybe we go with what we've got so far. So I do not accept a URL in a comment, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assertion.
And I
need to fail with a correct.
Yeah, I don't know as the driver if this is out of bounds, but I feel like if we're using AI, we might just want to use it as a reference and not as code generation, because if we use it as code generation, yeah, if we use it as code generation, we're not going to see it fail.
Yeah,
maybe we can just go ahead and see how we can make this test fail.
Today, do everything by hand.
Yeah, that's fine.
By design.
Tell me what to do.
As Matt said, on the side of
I
your
can
desk.
figure out something by myself.
Yeah, on the side of your desk, you can ask Claude and he can tell you what to. But let's do everything by hand, deliberately.
So I think the result would be I do not accept URLs. I think maybe that's just the result that we want. We don't need all that other stuff.
I'm a little confused
because we don't want to test for all those different responses, because those are not going to be what we expect when there's URL in the comment.
I mean, you can test for href. That's good enough, right?
Can I just point out the thing we see here on line 22? That's not valid JavaScript, so that's the IDE doing this, right? So I'm guessing. Well, I believe so. Is that valid?
No.
But this is
JavaScript result. Line 22 is not correct. Like I think AI touched all of these tests, because you see let result and then it has a colon, like it's getting ready to have a type.
Yeah.
And then it looks like it's trying to do a union type. So it's trying to write TypeScript in a JavaScript file, which to me, that's what it looks like. I think if we're doing JS, it's just const result equals, I do not accept a URL in the comments.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was
or
gonna say maybe
whatever we want to do it.
Yeah, I think Claude might be more intelligent than this model. to be fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so much of it is in the harness too.
Yeah. But what I'm confused about now is it your IDE that's showing this? Because that blue text there, is that actually in the code, or is that the IDE doing something clever?
This is already what I pulled. I just resetted the code, so.
Yeah, just hit escape and IDE is gonna simmer down.
Look, I mean, we already have. This is already TypeScript, no?
No, it's not. It shouldn't look like that. It's.
Oh wait, this is indeed. Wait, this is the IDE.
It's the IDE, isn't it? Yeah. I think it's just the IDE trying to help you. Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not
I
actually
don't
in
know,
the code.
I'm never really editing JavaScript here.
Yeah, just hit escape and ID is going to slow down. It's getting overly excited always.
No, that doesn't change anything. But yeah, let's just ignore the blue. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we need?
So it was the test, wasn't it, for the URL?
Okay, so maybe step by step.
Guys, I don't know how we can move on because this is not valid JavaScript in this test file unless I am wrong. So I don't know that there's much value in adding a bunch of new tests because Kimmy seemed to touch all of our other tests. Because you can see it says
Matt, this is just this is not in the file. This is just display.
Yeah, it's
okay,
the
how is
IDE
that
trying
helpful
to.
then?
It's metadata.
That's not helpful. 'Cause
Metadata.
if all I have to see is Jonah's screen and I'm seeing code that doesn't exist, then that doesn't do as much good, does it?
Code. This is annotation added.
It's a metadata from the IDE. It's not real code.
Okay, Matt, don't worry about it. You're the navigator. You're looking at the map. You're not looking at
don't
the driver's doing.
Blue. Just
so long as the
blue.
So long as the test is failing, and then we see it pass.
Okay.
We're good. Don't worry about how the code
But
looks.
how
Okay.
are we gonna make this test fail?
Okay, so if you change that assertion where you are now to say I do not accept the URL, I think that's what we agreed. That should fail, but we also need the results const to have a URL in it again. But let's do this first, I guess. I don't think it's a helpful feature of the IDE. Really, it's quite confusing.
Not really.
But yeah, you need to change on line 24 if you change the assertion. I do not.
The 24.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I do not accept. The reason it's passing as well, to be interestingly, is because that URL is currently allowed by the library, right? So it's passing because that is the output you would get. But you actually want to change it, right? I do not accept a URL, I think is what we said. So it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just need to say I do not accept a URL as the assertion.
Just listen the navigator. Yeah.
I think you need to put in a URL now.
No, literally the string I do not accept a URL. Yeah.
So we need to change the string that's in there right now. It's not the correct string. Line 24 needs to be fixed.
I really don't understand how does because it's not.
So like I do not accept.
As the
So
driver,
if you see
just let the navigator guide you in what to put in there.
Okay.
Okay, so you're on line 24. I need you to clear out the value of 2b. Clear out that whole string. The whole first argument. Yep, just make that an empty string because we're going to be replacing it. I do not accept a URL is what goes there.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. We should see that fail. Okay. Looks like it did. Or let's see what's going on with our tests. Okay.
That's right.
Oh, I see. There's two different. Okay, I got you. I thought that was one solid thing. Great. Okay. So if we go to our implementation, we'll go ahead and make it pass. So we'll open our form sanitizer, I believe is the name of the file. There it is. Okay. So here we need to assert if it does or does not have a URL. So what we need to do, well,
Matt, this is not your job.
Yep. I was going to say, I was getting ready to start explaining the implementation.
So
actually, question, Alex.
Insecure about where we.
So I can share a little bit of how we do this. We have 3 levels. One is the intent only, and you can go as detailed in intent as needed. The next is details as needed, which could mean if the person at the keyboard doesn't really quite know what to do, we give them a little more direction. Never too much. We give too much, it's always harmful. Then if we need to, location, this goes in this file on this line. So we don't always not give details. Just like with AI, sometimes you need to give it really serious details. But in this case, you start at the highest level of intent. It's nice having a whiteboard, which is kind of hard to do in this scenario, but we could make a whiteboard as well. But there you go. You just give the highest level intent. And if the person trying to implement it doesn't quite know what to do, they can ask, I don't know how to do that. And then anyone on the team could guide it. But to make it clear right now, we're doing a very forced approach where only one person's speaking. The navigator only is speaking, but we will open it up to ask for help, as we go.
Yeah. Thanks, Woody.
I notice an issue though. Oh, okay. So it's not passing anyway. But just something to point out here is, so obviously you had AI autocomplete there, but do you notice how it's added? So, okay, the test isn't passing right now anyway, so we need to work that out. But it's added an extra condition, HTTPS, but we don't have a test for both of those. We only have a test for one. So we should remove the code that doesn't have a test behind it for now. Let's just remove that. So just keep one. So it includes HTTP, which I think is what your example had. Now I don't know why it's not passing. Can we go back to the test and just make sure what does the
to equal maybe instead of to be?
Well, it's
what's the value we're sending in? Like what's the form data value that's being passed into the sanitizer function? I can't. It should be at the
line
end.
22. What's at the end of line 22?
Yeah. What's at the end of line 22? That's going to be our answer.
I do not accept string.
Well,
in the tests, we cannot see that whole line. So if you could reveal that to us by sliding that over. Line 22. Yeah, there we go.
So it has HTTP.
Yeah. So that form data value looks. I don't know what. Yeah.
Is that an escape character or something? Yeah.
What AI added the double / because it saw the word comment. And so it wrote a literal comment, but I don't think we need, we just want the, there we go. Perfect. Cool. Okay. So the next, I think, is we need to look for scripts contained within the body of form data. Reject those.
Matt, is your voice generated by AI, or is that your actual voice?
This is my real voice.
Wow. Okay.
So
that's what
the voice in it,
That's what the AI would say, right? That's exactly what the AI would say.
That's what an AI would say. No, this is me.
Such a radio voice. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Nice.
Okay, I have a failing test. Is that good?
Okay.
So for our expect, maybe I do not accept scripts.
Sorry, scripts, yeah.
Yep.
But have what's in the result constant though? Yeah. Can we need to check the again at the end of line 28?
Yeah, what are we passing in there, Jonah, at the end of line 28?
Nothing yet. String.
So maybe we should do a prefix of how a script. So maybe it would be the script tag. Maybe we just look for. I guess really we could look for the opening script tag, and that would be.
I guess.
I don't think you would have the wild card. I think maybe for this we just look for the opening tag. And if we see the opening tag, we can reasonably assume there's probably a close tag and there's probably something in between those.
Okay.
I need to leave.
So are we
Thanks
going
for the session.
See you, Nicholas.
I was going to say I need to leave as well, but it's been fun. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you, Paul.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so it looks like we're all set from the test standpoint, Jonah. I think maybe all we need to do is go to the form sanitizer and implement. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. I mean, so all right, so we're testing for URLs, we're testing for scripts. What else do we want to look for in this string that we don't want to have in a comment? Images. So Alex, inline images, maybe. I don't know if those are part of what's allowed in our comments bodies typically.
I suggest let's be hard asses and not allowing links.
Yeah.
Not allow links.
Yeah. So Jonah, probably very similar to what you did with the opening tag of the script. We're looking for image tags.
We don't want links to some porn sites showing up on our manifesto page, right?
Yeah.
Are we just looking for image source?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this. Maybe a space.
So, yeah, I was going to say maybe you create a very basic image opening tag to simulate. Yeah, so do like source and then, sorry, I'm much in the weeds. I was going to say you might want to consider in an opening image tag.
And Matt, yeah. You're okay now. You're okay in dictating what you expect. You're okay to do, because you're not implementing. You're just specifying your expectation in the test. So you can go into the weeds and say, I'm specifically asking you to catch the less than, SRC, stuff like that. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
And then leave it to the driver to figure out how that's going to be implemented. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying, Alex. So I guess like from a role perspective, when we're at the test layer, the driver has a little bit more leeway versus when we're at the implementation layer.
Yeah, 100%. You're expressing your and the more specific you are, the better it gets, right? You're not being vague. If you're being vague, then again, we're opening for things flailing and
you can get into specific examples of the given when then if you want to be gherkin about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Good point.
Be very, very concrete, very specific. It's always helpful. And I like tests that have concrete values, like greater than 100, less than that really helps solidify the system.
So, Joan, I'm thinking with this form data value, maybe we do just that opening tag for an image tag. So image, and then would be source SRC equals, put some source. There you go. Equals, right? Yeah, so, something like that. That I don't know if it actually wrote those values or not. You could do source with like a single quote probably if you wanted to, but either's fine. The idea is this mocked form data value would simulate the starting of an image tag.
I have a question here. So this form data tag for the sanitize form data function, what format does it need to have? Is there a certain requirement, or is it just a string what it's looking for?
I think it's just a string. It's named form data, but I think for now it's just a string.
Yeah, so this will work. Okay.
So yeah.
But remember, when the HTTP request is running across the wire, it's Unicode or whatever. It doesn't come across as a data type, right?
Right. Okay.
It's just text.
All right. Yep. Yeah. I think, yeah. Yep. Does the trick. Okay, how are we doing on time in terms of swapping?
We're sort of out of time for the whole session.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. See this test failed, get it to pass, and then we can wrap it up and continue next time.
Yep, I think we're looking good, Jonah. Your last image tag passed, so I think we could do mob stop at this point.
Now, after you do not mob stop, there's just another little step or two to getting the git commit to finish up. But mob stop should do the first few steps.
First, do I first do mob stop? I already tried.
Mob stop, that's correct. Okay. Oh.
But then I'm just getting ahead.
Oh, is it giving you an error for that command? Oh, is it mob done?
Yeah, done. Yeah. Done. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Oh man.
So you see, it's done some of the things. It
Where's
just
the girl?
you need to
Oh,
do a
you're-
few on your own.
Wait.
It's like, is remote ahead of you? Or what's going on?
Oh wait, I need to stash, I think. Oh jeez.
We may have gotten ourselves a little out of order.
Wait. There is something. Why is this missing?
Folks, unfortunately, I do have to drop, but it's been super awesome
Hey,
getting to
Matt.
hang out with y'all today. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
everybody.
Matt.
Bye.
Great.
I gotta
Thanks.
go too. Adios.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Wonderful. Woody, thank you so much for guiding this. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We're barely scratching the surface, and once
course.
we get this together, we have lots of options to look at.
Of course.
Fantastic. See y'all later.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Laura.
Bye bye.
Can someone help me navigate through merging this?